work with the team. It's combined fire. If an LAV or Abrams is out by itself and it's having to play cat and mouse with a cat team, that's like a 50-50 chance. It's either going to win or it's going to lose. If you have an Abrams or an LAV out there and you have an infantry squad with it supporting it, that cat team is going to have a much harder time killing that tank, and that helps the entire team out. Combined arms, baby.
Yes. So, anything going to pop in? Not you guys, but him. Example of, as far as like getting up behind it because we want to move. Let's say we're moving into the town up ahead. He'd hop in, and normally they'll have a commander with them, which is the top gun, and those are the ones issuing the orders to the driver and maybe even to the guys outside if needed. Kind of watching the flanks and the rear and stuff, while the main gun will usually watch the front. But everyone else is going to, like as far as infantry-wise, will either be behind it, and we'll do something kind of like this distance. So that way, if it does start to back up, we have enough time to kind of move out of the way if it needs to. Plus, if it gets hit by a rocket and it kind of gets jerked back against its will, you won't get hit and ran over. And what you'll do is just do a kind of a staggered, like you guys, so back up a bit, Cryptic. Alright, good. So when you have it like a stagger like this, and you just watch your sectors like normal, except the front's covered more than normal. So whoever's towards the front, watch more left or right, depending on what side they're on. And you would just move with it at a walking pace. The other thing being a column where you can straighten out, and we'll just be right behind it. And then we just move with the column. And again, you watch your sectors and everything just like normal, except the front is a bit more dealt with. Go ahead and move into the town, and we'll just move by a column.
Yeah. Column's good when you're approaching a contested singular point.
So you want to move kind of like anywhere from between half stick and full stick. Usually when you're doing stuff with an LAV. Again, just keeping an eye on your sectors as you're moving.
And don't be afraid to speak up if the LAV is getting too fast or too slow, because it's very hard to gauge walking speed in a vehicle.
And then halt. And something might happen where like the squad lead says this, or team lead, or maybe the commander in the LAV, and you're like, hey, I don't like this building, so go clear it. And we will be sent, maybe we'll leave one guy behind or something, but in this case we'll do all three. And we're going to go clear this building, so we might stack up. You guys can get right behind me, and you'll be watching sectors. LAV will watch stuff. Awesome, first man, so we're going to go ahead and pie. Clear, breach. And we'll clear. Do all the normal stuff, which we'll go have a breaching training later. I know you guys have been through that, but still we'll go through other things. Good, you guys, let me go to the door. Beautiful. But you might, when you're working with an LAV, have to deal with that, where it's like, hey, I don't trust that rock, go look behind that rock. Or, hey, that building, there could be an RPG in there, go clear it for me. Or I want one of you to set up on there to watch over the road as I move up. Stuff like that. It's working with the LAV, it's not relying on it to do all the work, because that's obviously not fair. We have a whole entire squad at least, like a fire team at least, behind the LAV, here to support it. If we didn't want to be doing this, we'd just be inside the LAV twiddling our fucking thumbs. We're here to support it, and it's here to support us. Other thing being, go ahead and proceed to the bridge. Oh yeah, keep an eye on rooftops though, because like the LAV front gun obviously has to keep an eye on the road. Commander will be able to watch that stuff, but it has to go back and forth between multiple different angles and looking down and clearing for mines and everything. So it's going to rely on the infantry to also help keep an eye. So watch the rooftops, watch the fucking lower floors. If you see any kind of weird corners where RPG or mines could be, call that out.
And another thing is, should the LAV take contact, like for example, an RPG comes from like right there, okay, so the LAV is going to stop and start engaging it. Most of the time, I'm not supposed to, but most of the time the commander and the gun and the driver both will just focus on that one location to deal with the threat. And one of the things, the infantry, you guys, help us, aim that way and try to get the targets, but also be wary, because with cat teams, someone might pop up there, hit me with an RPG, and then all of a sudden another one pops up right there and hits me with an RPG. And there have been multiple ops where there are two RPG guys shooting at me, and because everyone is tunnel visioned on this guy over here, they don't realize that there's an RPG dude literally standing right there. All it would take is someone to look over and they could just easily kill him, because he's in the open. He's got no cover whatsoever. And like, if I'm sitting here and I'm shooting, and like, I shoot all of my rounds, I've got that autoloader reloading. I get hit from this side. I look over and I see him, and I can't hit him because I'm getting hit from this way, so I'm looking back this way. You know, it's just a really shitty situation that really annoys us in armor, and just try to have our backs a little bit more. And again, nothing towards you guys, because I don't even know if I've ever played with either of you, so just something to keep in mind. You know, if the LAV's engaging a target and you got like 2 or 3 infantry engaging the same target, you don't have to all focus on that dude. You know, watch the rooftops, watch the back.
Yeah, if you remember, I believe, Wub, I took you through a cat training, or like qualification. I specifically qualified cat and trained them to try and hit from multiple different angles at slightly delayed times, because that's what's going to do the most damage to whatever vehicle you're dealing with and give it the least amount of time to respond. And because of that, it's at a severe disadvantage, but when it has infantry, it kind of evens that playing field. And like he's saying, you don't want to just all focus on the one guy, because that's exactly what I choose cat to do when I'm on the weapons side of things, because it's going to kill the vehicle. But right now, we're on the opposite side, trying to defend it. So if they engage something over there, okay, 1 or 2 guys who are on that side can maybe help out. Everyone else needs to be watching the sectors, because the second guy is probably going to pop up somewhere. And even if it isn't an RPG, it might be a guy with a rifle who's going to take out the squad.
Yeah.
And while the LAV isn't damaged, the squad is. So you want to make sure you're watching sectors. When the LAV's here, it is a part of your formation. It's already watching a sector. You can support it, but you don't need everyone to watch that. It's like when we went over in recruit training. When something happens, you need to hold your sectors and assist as needed. Don't just everyone abandon your sector to focus on the one thing.
You want to move to the bridge?
Correct. Hey, the storm's finally pretty cleared up. And we're going to go to the bridge to show something else. We're going to pretend that along the way to the bridge, once we're on it, we'll take some kind of contact from hotel. So right around here's fun. Mafia. Ah, crazy contact. Ah, getting shot at. We're going to come over here. Because obviously this is like a wall to us. Now that thing can't engage us. It is now just engaging the LAV. LAV can engage back like it is doing now. What we can do, make sure you're not up on the LAV like this, because again, if it has to move or is jerked by an RPG, it might hit you. You can be crouched. You want to watch your sectors. You can back up, so you can look over the LAV. You can go to the sides, but you're going to be more open, so this way's a bit better. So you can fire over the LAV at whatever it's dealing with. But again, make sure people are watching their sectors. We don't need everyone doing that, just like we're doing right now. Wub, awesome, covering the rear. You know, I got front, so in this example, we're doing that. Cryptic could be backing up, trying to shoot over the LAV, or kind of watching our left flank. Either one's fine, just dealing with that. And we'll say, okay, cool, the contact's dealt with, but we're not really comfortable with that. We still feel like someone might pop up from that region, so we'll stay to this side. Mafia going to keep moving, but at like a walking pace.
I will say one thing, too. On the side position, y'all probably need to be out a little bit further because of the splash damage. If I get hit in the side with an RPG, it's wiping your entire squad.
Which side?
So, like, maybe...
Do you mean like your right side?
The side that you guys are on, if an RPG hits right there and you're this close, it's killing every single one of you.
No, yeah, I mean, either way, it's going to damage us. The
Yeah,
point is that
but
way
I'm saying
they have
with, like-
cover from there.
Yeah, so like with this type of formation, you can kind of be out a little bit further. And again, that is, I mean, if there's a hill right beside us, you know, and you're back this far, you're not going to get cover. So it's just kind of you're going to have to get closer. It's the lesser of two evils. But like in this situation, we could say it's like a flat level area over there. You guys could get back probably to this yellow line and be safe.
Point
See
being,
what I'm
more
saying?
the tower is the threat, is why. And if you're back this far, the tower can engage us. That's what I
Yeah,
was getting
well,
at. That's why I
I'm
was
just
saying
saying on like flat.
Yeah, on flat,
different.
yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I got you.
Just playing
Just
it
something
with
to
the
be
context,
mindful
yeah.
of.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just depending on the other side, if it's elevate or not.
Omega, go ahead and load in when able, and just grab a basic assault kit.
They can.
So you can try and line up yourself with the tires, keep an eye on that and shit. And there's another reason why you don't want to be up like this, because an RPG could hit the other side and could splash through and hurt you,
Yep.
versus if you're this
And-
far,
and
you
if
might
you're-
get damaged, but you should be fine.
Believe it or not, I cannot. Echo, get back to where you were.
Here?
I cannot see Echo. No. You were, like, right up against my tire.
Oh,
I can't see you at this point. Like, I don't know that there's an
sneaky.
infantry there. So if you guys are going to, like, prone down beside the LAV, make sure the LAV's aware of that. Because if I take contact and I start to be like this or something, you know,
Now
I
we don't
didn't
no
kill
longer
him
have
like I was
cover.
hoping to, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But that is something whenever you're moving with the LAV, and this will be up to the fire team leader, the squad lead, mostly to relay this. But you want to say, "Hey, we're moving to your left or your right or on behind you," that kind of stuff. And again, it's wherever the LAV like chassis is. So this is always the left side of the LAV. It doesn't matter if I'm like this. That's still the left, and then over here is the right, because that's what how the
Who's
LAV
that?
driver sees it. Who's who?
Perspective
Hi,
of the
Omega. You should
of
come
the
join us on
LAV.
Blue 4. Just come join us on Blue 4, Omega. Contact down.
Fucking headshot.
But what was it? Where are we going over? Oh yeah, just relaying where you're moving with the squad and stuff, so that way, like he said, he doesn't move out of the way when he's trying to cover you, or he doesn't accidentally run you over.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to deal with contact and moving an entire fucking vehicle. He doesn't have time to check to make sure infantry's around.
So if you guys want, can hop in, we'll do dismounting next. Is that what you wanted to do?
Sure, that works.
Yeah. So basically, dismounting from the LAV can be one of two ways: either the LAV driver or the squad lead. So we'll just say this time it's the LAV driver, but like in this situation, I'm the driver, Echo squad lead. So in this situation, Echo would technically take over the role of the LAV commander. Like I would still have, you know, my set of rules where I need to go, but he kind of guides me of where he wants you guys to go. So go ahead and do that, Echo. Tell me where you want me to go.
Alright, go ahead and I want you to pull up on, what is that fucking mini market to the right side? I want you to pull up and the squad's gonna dismount and go into the mini market. It's to our 1 o'clock.
Alright. Alright.
Alright, squad follow on the
So-
left side and you'll move into the beauty salon, the mini market on the left side
Infantry
of the
dismount.
LAV. We would fall out, you can maybe deploy smoke if needed, and we would either hold our sectors, or if we need to move, we'll fucking just run right in, start breaching and shit, and clearing it out. It really just depends on the context. You know, sometimes we'll hold and clear the area versus other times we need to rush to it because it's just that dire. And now LAV will either hold there, or find a different position, or retreat, and we'll just continue clearing all this shit. But that's really about it. That's all I had to go over as far as LAV training. I know, Omega, you just kind of missed some of it, so to do a quick little run through. When you're behind LAV, column or staggered column to go with it. When you're on the side, you can just kind of be up against it, but not like literally up against it, because you don't want to get ran over. Leave a decent amount of space between you, so Omega, follow me. Get a little bit more, like, just drive forward a tiny bit, Mafia. So there's some space. Okay, that was not. Can you go back? Go to the middle of the intersection. Actually, behind you. I'm wanting tons of space around you so I can show him like kind of the space. Jeez, Mafia, fuck. Are you still rubber
This
banded?
lag is not fun.
Yeah, okay.
This lag is fucking rough.
We'll go with that. Fuck, we'll go with that. Okay. So I'm just gonna do a wide berth. It's kind of like all this region that I'm walking by is where you can move with the LAV. All this shit. You don't want to be up in the front because there's no reason to do that. You're just gonna get ran over, or you're not gonna have any cover since obviously the fire is to the front. You can be to the sides, you can be to the rear, but you don't want to be up against it like this, because if it needs to back up or gets hit by an RPG, it'll hit you and run you over. So you want to make sure you have some amount of distance. That will change based on context. So, as we were saying on the bridge, if you have really high elevated contact, you'll need to get closer to the LAV so it can't see over it to hurt you. Versus if it's more flatter, you can have some more area to move around in. It'll just depend. When you're on the side, you can back up to fire over. You also want to make sure you're watching the front and rear and to the side. And this is even why you're moving with the LAV, so don't do this because then you're lagging. But if it were to drive forward, we continue watching our sectors. If we're on the rear, you just hold a staggered column or a column up to the squad lead, and you simply watch your normal sectors, except the guys towards the front don't really need to worry about the front because the LAV is there, so they can watch more of a left to right bias. The only other big thing is that while you're moving with the LAV, this is more while you're on the side, or if you're doing a staggered and it's like in between you, keep an eye out for mines. Any kind of C4, any slams, any AT mines, anything like that, you need to immediately call out to the LAV, and it will either have EOD to pull out and clear the mines with an EOD bot, or by picking it up, or it will dispose of it with his main cannon, or it is up to the fire team, so us, to dispose of it, either with a frag grenade or a 320. So you want to keep an eye out for that.
Biggest thing with the LAVs and infantry is like, the LAV really is here for the infantry. The main battle tanks, the Abrams and all that, they're their own thing. You know, they can go off and do their own thing. Don't worry about them. The LAVs, though, they're really susceptible. They're harder to drive than the Abrams. A lot of the armor guys don't drive them as much, so a lot of them aren't as experienced on them as the Abrams. They're harder to see out of, a lot harder to like reverse and stuff just because of how finicky they are. Like, they're very sensitive in reverse, so it's just like the infantry really needs to help watch the backs of the LAVs. You know, this is combined arms. It's not armor versus the world, which is, I know that's kind of like how it's been portrayed in the past, but at the end of the day, we're in the same milsim, and hopefully we can start doing like armor versus other milsim ops, like when we have joint ops and all that, bring armor back to kind of like the forefront or the middle ground and really blow the other milsims away with how well we incorporate the combined arms aspect of things. So
that is something other milsims, because I've been working with them, they don't really utilize armor that often, if at all, and if so, it's usually not that efficiently. Point being, they normally don't have as many members as we do, and to the point where they feel comfortable. Omega, you're a really funny guy.
Where's he at?
That makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
I can't see him.
Hop in the commander gun. Oh, that works. But they don't really effectively utilize it as well as we do, so if we can just work with armor and work with our other units as well in fucking joint ops and stuff, we're gonna really shine. There is a planned joint op. It was going to be this weekend, but it's not going to anymore, as you guys know. But it will be in a future weekend where we're going to work with LAVs on this map, doing cool shit with the LAV. So you need to be aware of that. Basic rule is just don't get ran over. Pretend like it's a fucking car that's moving. You don't want to get right up next to it, just like in real life.
Echo, will you please move?
That's not me.
No, I'm looking dead at you, Echo.
Not the guy I was laying in the middle of. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna run him over.
Negative.
Same rules will kind of work with MRAPs and buggies, just obviously a little bit differently because they're faster and weaker. But still moving with them, make sure you don't get up in front of them, that kind of shit. Other thing being, if you do ever get an LAV, don't fire the guns on the passenger side. That's the general rule. If an op says you can do it, then you can do it. But unless it says that, you are never to fire the guns within the LAV that are in the passenger side. The exception is the commander mode, but you have to ask the driver about that, if he's fine with you doing that or not. If you're just in it as a passenger, then probably not. But that's all.
Yeah. Another little bit of thing for, I guess, just everyone's knowledge. With the LAVs and stuff, and tanks and all that, when giving bearings on these vehicles, we're going to be saying that the front of the vehicle, no matter which way it's orientated, is going to be the 12 o'clock of that vehicle. So it's a little bit different from infantry. So when you're giving callouts for a tank or something, give the callouts relating to the front of the armored vehicle. Because again, it's hard to, like, you know, in an infantry squad, you can kind of tell which way the squad's orientated. In the vehicles, you can't really tell which way the squad's orientated. So, like, the tanks will be giving callouts to each other based off of the direction of the hull.
Okay, sounds good.
So that is all I have as far as this training goes. As far as future plans, I want to go over a breaching training, possibly with the other squad. And then I want to do a, I'm not sure if we'll do this one or now or later, but I do want to do a, remember the Parasol Road where you walk down the road and do call-outs and stuff?
Yes, I remember
I
that.
want to do that again.
Okay.
Kind of the same thing, but a little differently, and it'll be a lot faster than before because we're not doing tons of things at once, and you guys already know how to do that shit. After that, I have a planned mini-op I would like to do. Again, like same how we did with the VOD, going over the stuff that we learned. So this would incorporate an LAV into it and utilizing that. And also like some close quarters combat and whatnot. As far as right now though, you guys are dismissed. Thank you for coming. If you want, there I believe is a pub match up in Shenanigans. I might join that. That does not give you fire to shoot, or free reign to shoot, Omega. You're dismissed. Just like after ops, when we say dismissed, you can't kill everyone. It's the same thing here.